Black Friday is a strange holiday. On one hand, it's not an actual holiday, just a day that people have collectively decided means the commencement of the holiday shopping season. On the other hand, it's also a time when people get violently assaulted over said aforementioned deals. But that is also the crux of why we're here. The simple truth is a lot of people who may not be as financially in the black rely on Black Friday to be able to afford things they wouldn't be able to otherwise. Like the Hart family from Bless the Harts. For the purposes of this episode, all you need to know is that the Harts, like a lot of people in states like North Carolina where the show takes place, aren't especially wealthy. You could even go as far to say that the Harts could be just one missed paycheck away from being in the red. So, something like Black Friday gives them the opportunity to afford what they both need and want. So, that's why on Thanksgiving, while Violet is trying to get them to just sit down and enjoy a nice family meal, Jenny and Betty can't seem to get the fated day out of their heads.
Bible. Oh, Lord, just let me have a taste of my sweet, sweet doorbuster circular.
Anyway, because Betty took so long to get through Grace, trying to name drop every celebrity she could think of, they need to reheat the gravy. So of course, it's time to use the microwave they need to turn everything else off to use.
Ouch!
Shockingly, getting electrocuted reminds Jenny of the day they got the microwave, 10 years ago on Black Friday. Flashing back to the very late 2000s when Violet was only around 3 or so and Jenny dressed like Britney Spears, Jenny and Betty, instead of spending Thanksgiving at home, bag up Thanksgiving and head to Megalomart with Violet in tow. Their mission is simple. Jenny's going to get a new microwave, and Betty is going to get some pink Ugg boots, which she for some reason thinks is the singular of the word, so she calls them Uggs. Meeting up with Brenda, who hopes the store to send into looting. Now, you might be asking, why is she dressed like an umpire? You know, it's unclear. Anyway, the doors open at midnight, squishing the first guy in line, local weirdo Randy, who was for some reason dressed like the lead singer of Jamiroquai. And, wow, that must be a lot of canned heat he's getting. So, while Betty goes out to find her Ugg boots and gets into a fight for the last pair with her church rival Krista Lynn, played by Mary Steenburgen, destroying the last pair in the process, they discover all the other boots in the store are being bought by a different lady, forcing Betty and Krista Lynn to team up to make off with 2 pairs of boots. Anyway, through hijinks, they do eventually get the boots, and that concludes that subplot. Now back to the good part! Meanwhile, Jenny's on the hunt for the microwave, having to go into the housewares department, which has spiraled into anarchy, almost getting murdered by the crazed customers needing to get saved by Brenda. Here's the thing, though. About an hour ago, while Jenny's back was turned, Violet had actually gotten out of her carriage and walked away.
Help! I'm Pinocchio!
Man, this store is descending into virtual insanity. Violet eventually makes her way through the store enough that she runs into a pre-relationship with Jenny Wayne, who's also there looking for a vacuum cleaner for his new business. What kind of business was it? TBD. Wayne tries to do the sensible thing and deposit Violet at the front of the store, but he didn't like the look of the store orphanage, so instead he tries to find Jenny himself, eventually figuring out that Violet is able to draw Jenny. So now that he has an idea of who he's supposed to be looking for, there shouldn't be a problem. Well, I mean, maybe one.
Damn, that Britney look really is all the rage.
And because this is not the origin story of Punky Brewster, Wayne gets Violet back to Jenny sacrificing his vacuum. And it's fully revealed that this entire escapade was not in fact a story about the microwave. Don't get me wrong, they did get the microwave thanks to Brenda, but the story was in reality the tale of how Jenny met Wayne and they subsequently started dating. Returning back to the present, the weight of the story is hitting Violet hard. Violet even dedicates a prayer to the people she's thankful for before they pack it up to go down to the Megalomart to try and get what they want. Afterwards, Wayne actually reveals he still keeps the first drawing Violet ever made in his wallet. The episode ends on the Harts seeing Krista Lynn there. Betty reveals what happened to the Ugg boots. Now, they don't show it, only the beginning, but it's fair to say it got really ugly. And as we learn in this episode's sequel, there's a bit more of the relationship between Wayne and Jenny than even they realized at first. So, an entire season of television comes and goes, and now we're in season 2. And as you can see, the animation looks a little different. The next episode actually begins in the same way the previous episode ended, with the Harts, including Wayne and Brenda, in line at the Megalomart for Black Friday. But they make it clear that what happened in the previous episode actually took place to them last year. This year, they're not even giving any pretense of having Thanksgiving dinner at the Harts, given Jenny equipped them with everything they need to have Thanksgiving in line, including one of those camel water bladders for the cranberry sauce and gravy popsicles.
Lord, remember the last time we had gravy pops on Black Friday?
From here, it's revealed that the plotline we'll be following are flashing all the way back to when Jenny was 17, and how she, Betty, and Brenda yet again spent Black Friday at the Megalomart, with Betty trying to tell the story of how she managed to execute the most perfect slip-and-fall scam in Megalomart history. And on the other side of town, for his own amusement, Wayne is recounting an escapade he had as a dairy truck driver that same night. The funny thing is, Wayne at that time was going through a breakup with his ex-girlfriend, saying he was too emotional. So, To compensate, he's deliberately remembering it as a full-throttle, turn-your-brain-off, Michael Bay-esque action film, including cinematic black bars. So, take his story about how he only had 20 minutes to deliver all the merchandise with a grain of salt. Meanwhile, Betty and Brenda are at the Megalomart already, Jenny meeting up with them just then because she was at an audition for the Carolina Panthers cheerleading team. Betty is pretty sure that Jenny's going to get it, and she's trying to do the slip and fall to pay for Jenny to be able to afford to move to Charlotte, North Carolina, where the team is. And because it's a fair amount easier to fake one of those in the chaos of Black Friday, Megalomart has actually brought in Henri Tombert, a Louisianan claims investigator who works for the insurance company to deal with fraudulent claims. So, later in that night, in an attempt to work around him, Betty has to set up a scheme where she makes it look like Henri caused her to slip and fall. But before all that could happen, Jenny got a call that she's just been hired by the Carolina Panthers, which Betty tells the entire store about. This part of the story actually confuses Violet. Her mother getting hired as a cheerleader is extremely great news, but Jenny's never mentioned it before. And this is the awkward part, but Jenny did have a reason. Did you know that Jenny is 30? So, this flashback takes place about 13 years ago. You know, give or take 9 months.
Look, I'm pregnant.
The situation gets even worse when Jenny, trying to leave the store, sets off the shoplifting alarm, which alerts the entire store that she's holding a bunch of used pregnancy tests that confirm her situation. This also being the reason why Betty did not in fact succeed in her slip and fall scam. Now, even more upset than she was before, Jenny goes to hide in the dairy aisle. Why don't we check back in with young Wayne? After trying to keep the dairy cold with some margarita slush, Wayne's truck breaks down, wherein he gets saved by real, in air quotes, pro wrestler turned actor Bear Volcano in a flour truck.
You drive a flour truck?
Of course I do. I used to haul weapons-grade nitroglycerin. And then I realized I don't have to prove anything to anybody.
So, Bear gives him a ride to his last stop for the night, also giving him some sage advice on how important it is to be in touch with your emotions. And by now you're probably wondering, Wayne's story is supposed to be kinda Michael Bay-esque, right? Where's the gratuitous explosion?
My flowers!
Apparently, Bear had some nitro with his peonies. Anyway, while Jenny's crying about her predicament in the dairy aisle, she starts talking to the guy restocking the eggnogs in the back on the other side of the fridge. So yeah, guess who?
Hey, I know what'll cheer you up.
Aw, Violet. Pretty.
And, just like last year, this story is attacking Violet directly in her feelings, especially because this revealed that technically Wayne named her. And as it turns out, there's just a bit more to the story. It turns out after Jenny fled, Benny convinces the entire store to hold an impromptu baby shower for Jenny. Though it's more likely that she's just killing two birds with one stone and seeing if she can get the customers to give them stuff. I guess to finish up here, if there were any doubts these four were a family, the only way to prove it is to see them rush into Megalomart as a family.